What's up, everyone? Just gonna give you guys a little update video and letting you guys know how I'm doing, how everything is going along. I want to first off thank God in allowing me to continue to stay blessed and continue on my journey of recovery. I'm very excited for that. And would you look at that? I've just completed 3 months in sobriety, and that's an accomplishment. And so just for today, I'm very, very thrilled to be sober. During this journey, I've been learning a lot about what it's like to go through an experience in where people think that your motives are ulterior, or that it's that addiction is not a mental illness, or addiction is just like a phase that people are going to be going through. I've come to realize, and I've come to accept it, that addiction is in fact a sickness. It's a mental illness, and if not treated, then the only outcomes would probably be locked up, death, or severely mental. And so I praise God for allowing me to continue in the right path. I wanted to share a story that happened today that brought a little bit of tears to my eyes, in the sense of how hard is it for family members to support the addict that still, or that wants to get out of the toxic environment, the toxicity of other people. And so, like, I'm just going to be brief in this story, in the sense that we had a guy come in to our facility, and he wanted to join voluntarily and provide a service of being part of the team, and we were like thrilled. But he was like, yeah, I come from another place, and the environment was very toxic, it was very hostile, and it was rough on me. And he looked like he needed a haircut. We gave him a haircut. He looked like he needed a shower. We gave him a shower. And he was representing this other facility, and we were just kind of like, all right, well, I mean, we're going to do everything we can to treat you well. And so, come to senses, he got in contact with his mom. His mom was sharing the news with his relatives, is how I imagine it. But then his dad wasn't really thrilled that he had left the other place. And so now I can't be biased in the story, because I have to be able to comprehend both sides of the story. But the brief point of the story is that the dad was just really, 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 really upset at the fact that he left the other treatment facility, where he had a very close acquaintance, or a very close friend of his, in treating his son in treatment. And so we were just kind of like, oh, well, we're here to support, and our main purpose is to help out the guys that come into our facility, and just give them the opportunity. And so we try to have a conversation with dad, and then dad was just kind of like, as a counselor in addictions, I was just kind of like, let me give you a little bit briefing about what addiction is. If you've been dealing with this addiction for a very long time, we have to understand, like, your son has a mental illness, a mental illness. I want to say it in Spanish, and as much as I tried to, like, convince this father, he was just like, you don't understand, my son's a piece of shit, like, he doesn't, like, all in Spanish verbiage, right? And so I was just like, well, what, how do I understand the concept of, like, the addict harming the family to a certain, like, to a very, like, intolerable degree. Like, I get that. But he's like, no, my son's not sick from the mind. He's just a stupid ass, dumbass. And then I was just kind of like, whoa. It was very eye-opener for me, because I was just kind of like, oh my goodness. If people have to go through these experiences, if people have to go through these experiences to get the support that they want, sometimes it's that toxic environment, people, that doesn't allow a person to heal properly. And so in that sense, I was just kind of like, well, like, you know, listening, hearing out the dad, and he was like, no, he's worthless, like, you don't understand, I raised him such a long time. And so I was just kind of like, okay, well, by all means, like, you can come visit. And so he was like, no, well, just neglecting the idea that recovery is an accessible term. I can't speak today. Is an accessible term to his son. And so, to make this brief, I just wanted to let you know, if you have that relative that's going through an addiction and you are like at your bottom line, you just can't do it anymore. You have to do something about it. Be patient. Please be patient. I can tell you, the 3 types of addicts that I talked about the previous video that Coach Javier Garcia, I think I mentioned, I tagged his YouTube channel in last video. But if you, I was the second type of addict that I knew I had a problem, but I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want to accept that help that people were willing to give me. And so when I finally surrendered and I was just kind of like, you know what? I became the 3rd type of addict. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of not being able to obtain the things, the necessities that I need in order to live a functional life. I'm sick and tired of it. And so I'm 3 months sober. I've done several programs. I can attest to that. And it's my journey in becoming an adult. But I've learned so much in what it takes to recover that you have to sacrifice a lot of the things. And one of the main things that I personally think I need to sacrifice is the compulsivity in thinking that my life's under control when it's really not in control. And so I have to find that peace. And thank goodness I found it at a fast pace, being 3 months in sobriety, in where I was just kind of like, you know what, God, I leave my problems to you. I seriously leave them to you, and I have all the faith, and I pray every night, I pray every night to make sure I'm protected against any harm's way. And God is providing. God is providing those miracles that allow me to sustain a functional living life. Being part of a treatment facility where I treat people based off of me also getting that experience. But I'm a licensed coach. I have my degree in communications. I've done leadership coaching. And so all these experiences are great and grand in like a professional realm, but I personally also have to understand that medicine works both ways, right? And so this is why the mutual help program, or the mutual help functioning, helps out a lot of people, because I hear you out, you hear me out. How are we going to do it? What's going to be your problem? What's going to be our solution, right? And so it just, this whole experience, I guess I'm ranting. I just wanted to tell you guys, it woke me up. And I'm so blessed to have such a strong support system, even though there were many times where I was like, why are you guys getting in my life? I'm functioning, I'm taking care of my bills, but there came a point where my relapses were frequent, there were chronic relapses, and my wires were like breaking off. Like I would do things out of normality, and as a human being, I couldn't function. And so, I'm not going to go into details at this point. Like, I don't feel comfortable doing that yet. But it was eye-opener for me to realize that, holy shit, after this little experience that I had with the gentleman that came in, and that his dad was just like badgering his capabilities of like being able to recover, it was sad. It was honestly sad. And it made me think, and made me question a lot of things. Like, I was like, if I had my father alive, my dad died from alcoholism, and if he were alive, like, would he give me that sort of treatment? Like, would I be the man that I am now? Or, so like it opened up a lot of questions, but my main purpose was just like, I'm gonna call my mom and thank her. I'm gonna call her right now and be like, hey, thank you for being that strong support. Thank you for doing everything on my benefit. And sometimes I may not have liked the degree of you insisting that I do treatment. I may not have liked it, but it was the best thing for me. And I can tell you, I've worked very hard with the things that I want to get. And so nonetheless, I'm very blessed to have that strong support system. I'm blessed to have a family that understands my capabilities. And so I forgot what I was saying. I got a little bit interrupted, but I was just, to pick it up and shorten it, I'm super blessed. I'm blessed. My family, there came a point where they were just like, we're sick of you. We're sick of you trying. I mean, we're like, your apology means nothing to us. Your apology doesn't sustain. Like, you tell us you want to change. You tell us you want to do different. You tell us, but we're back at it again. We're back at it again where we have to go take care of your mishappenings. We have to go pick up your vehicle where you're at. We're tired of having to, it's a mess. And so I think the whole point of this video is just, if you're that person that's going through an addiction and you're losing your family left and right, you just don't know what to do, I practice the second and third step. That's the best advice I can give you, and find a superior power. So a power, like un poder superior is what we call it in Spanish. Find it fast, and start letting things out, start praying, because you deserve to live a functional life. You deserve to live a functional life. And I tell you this with like sad eyes, because I'm just kind of like, time's slipping, time's flying, and I'm in treatment, I'm working treatment, but for me, it's God's plan. Not everyone's gonna have the same plan, like, I have to understand, but for me, it's working for me, right? And I'm thrilled to be able to receive people who are going through such a hard experience based off of their problem with addiction. And so if you're that person that's losing everything, stick through it. Give yourself the opportunity. Addiction recovery is not an easy, flawless. No, you have to go through it. You have to fight. You have to sacrifice your cravings. You have to sacrifice time spent with the wrong people. You have to sacrifice a lot of things in order for your mental wellness to be a priority. And so that's the best thing I can give to you. And if you're that relative that's just like, take some time. You can't solve the addict's problems. Like that's the number one thing, but you could support and you could motivate. And by adding more fuel to the problem, you're essentially igniting the problem. You're making the fire a lot bigger. And making the fire a lot bigger, I mean, if the addict alone is looking for a way to escape these emotions that are going on in his mind, and here you are causing all these tensions, they're worthless, they're a piece of shit, we don't want them in our lives. Best believe you may not want them in your life, but the reality is, I mean, do you want them in a coffin? And I pray to God that doesn't happen to your relative, but recovery should be creative. Recovery should be a process in where that support that one is receiving is also informed in ways of letting their family relative know, like, hey, we're here with you. We may not be in the treatment facility with you, we may not be in recovery with you, we may not, but we hear you out. And so that's the base part. I think a lot of the part where it gets misconstrued is that they're just manipulators. Indeed, addicts are masters of manipulating. So just a little bit of that for you, in that sense of you finding that support group and you being that support for someone. That's all for today. I'm gonna try to put up videos. I don't know if anyone's gonna even look at them, but if anything, I would love to look back to 5 years from now, 6 years from now, and if the internet is free right now, I hope it stays free, where you can upload freely and voice freely. I would like to go back and look at these videos, you know, and hopefully I'm in a place where I have time in recovery and I can go back and be like, look, I was wearing that Monsters University hat. But nonetheless, everyone, I'm grateful, and I couldn't be even more grateful with God. And I'm just praying that this young man whose dad thinks the worst thing of him, I'm just praying for him. I hope you stay blessed.